Hi, Dr. Tech Tanyanyiwe here. How are you doing? Trust you're doing great. I just wanted to post a bit of an article here just to comment on an article that is trending. There's an article that's gone out that says uh, um, frequent sex helps reduce the chances of getting coronavirus. And Fact Checker has also put out a comment saying that these are not true facts. Now, I want to comment on that because I have been studying sex for as long as I've been having it, and this month of August is marks 19 years of having sex with only one woman. So I've been married for 19 years, and this is our anniversary month. So I decided to study sex to get to understand it because I thought somewhere along the line, if God designed sex, there must be more to it than just having quickies, having sex, and having orgasms, and all the abuse and the perversion that we see in the world today. Out of that research, we've come up with some brilliant content that we run in our coaching sessions and in our seminars. Proved right from the beginning when we began the test, a great sex life is a great tool. We wrote a book called The Greatest Sex Life Ever. If you've not read this book, I'd encourage you to do that. Now, is it true that having a lot of sex will reduce the chances of getting coronavirus? Well, I'm not going to comment on that part of the conversation. Here's the conversation that I want to bring to you. Before we had the conversation about coronavirus, before we had the conversations about a whole lot of other issues that have come up based on the sexuality, human sexuality and human sexual orientation, etc., we had scientific facts that have been presented on paper, and these facts are available for those that are serious and want to really do some research. I've done a lot of reading myself over the last many years on the subject. But here's the point. It has been scientifically proven that great sex will enhance and boost your immune system. There are many health benefits of a great sex life. For example, it boosts your immune system, and it was actually tests were done on people, and they realized that the greater the sex they had, they reduced the probability of getting flus and colds. So coronavirus, one of the symptoms of coronavirus is flus and colds. One interesting other stat that came up was not even sex, but just laughter. It boosted your immune system because you're releasing a lot more endorphins, and endorphins are a hormone that help govern how you feel, your happiness, your mood, and help your body to repair itself. So now you find all these wonderful scientific facts that are real, boosting of your immune system, enhancing your ability to resist sickness and disease. I've got a couple of them here. Cardiovascular disease is reduced because of sex. Lower chances of prostate cancer and cervical cancer, relieves pain, lowers blood pressure, reduces all kinds of issues like sleeplessness, insomnia, and sleep apnea, relieves stress, boosts brain power, increases lifespan, boosts self-esteem. Now you may be saying, what has this got to do with corona? Good question. Now, corona is just that. It is a disease. We have over sensationalized what it is, but it is still not yet a number one killer of people. People are dying from corona, and it is sad that that is happening, and we mourn with the families that have been affected. However, the power of any sickness or disease is the fear factor in it. One of the questions that was asked one time was, how come so many doctors were working with different patients that had different infectious diseases, and the doctors were not being affected? And one of the things that they found as a fact, again scientifically proven, is that doctors in their study lost their fear of certain diseases and possible infection, and hence reduce the probability of getting that particular disease. And obviously doctors follow certain protocols, washing hands after every patient, keeping a clean environment, etc., etc. And all of these are things that are in the Bible. God had already been teaching us to wash our hands, stay clean, make sure you're hygienic and all of that. But now let's get to the crux of the matter. In this wonderful book, The Greatest Sex Life Ever, which, by the way, was not written in response to coronavirus. Otherwise, I would have written about it. I would have done some research around that. This came out way before all the dramatic issues. We've been teaching this content for the last, I think, 8-9 years. But there's a chapter that's called Live Long, Live Happy, Live Free. Live long, live happy, live free. And in it, we talk about the health benefits of a great sex life, and some of which I've already alluded to. But the key factor here is hormones are the secret agents to long life. Hormones and how your hormones are functioning are the secret agents to a healthy and long life. And how do you make this work for you? By having a great sex life. If you're married, and I'm talking to married people here, if you're married and you maintain a healthy sex life, you're going to increase your immunity, you're going to enjoy all the wonderful benefits, and you're going to live long upon the earth. One of the things that they actually discovered as well when it came to, I think there is I'm not sure whether to call it a hormone. It's not a hormone, but it's called IgA. If you are exposed to germs, if you're exposed to pathogens or whatever may possibly attack your body begins to produce a lot more IgA, which helps to increase your body's immunity or its ability to resist sickness and disease. What happens when people have sex or couples have sex, they're exposed to fluids and substances, etc. And the body says, oh, something's happening to me. I'm getting attacked. So it increases the IgA levels, and that increases or boosts your immunity, your ability to resist sickness and disease. What happens in an environment like the one we're living in, where we are social distancing and not exposed to one another, our immunity is dropping. Number one, because we're not exposing one another to the germs that we all carry. Number two, because we're living in an atmosphere of severe fear, etc., etc. Number three, because we are now living in these clean, super clean environments, and your system is not used to reading the coding of the germs and the pathogens around it. So guess what happens? Our system becomes more vulnerable. We are looking at working to get up to a place where we have herd immunity. And that happens because we are interacting, because we are building our immunity by virtue of exposure to that which we're supposed to become immune to, not by avoiding it. So it's an interesting conversation that we actually need to challenge the specialists and the professionals that are being consulted regarding the topic. But I want to encourage couples, have great sex. It increases your determination to live, your commitment to live. Some people are dying simply because they're asking themselves, is there anything worth living for? My marriage is a mess. My life is a mess. My finances are a mess. But I want you to know a great sex life will prove it. I was reading one of my favorite books that I read twice every year, Think and Grow Rich. And in there, they tell a story of a patient that was dying, literally dying. And the doctors decided, let's do an experiment and pay one of the nurses to actually sleep with the patient, have sex with the patient. And the patient, the nurse began to have sex, they got somebody to come in, provide sexual services. And the moment they began to have great sex, the health recovered. In fact, they eventually got married. The good news is they eventually got married. But what they noticed was the before and after. This man was dying. But after he started having great sex with this nurse, he began to heal, amend, recover, and was totally restored. He did not die. So what does that tell us? Great sex was designed by God to bring health benefits, a whole bunch of them. Our recommendation is to follow God's pattern, which is sex in the confines of marriage. So make sure you have a great sex life. Make sure you read this brilliant book. Make sure you get connected to your spouse And that's going to increase your immunity. That's going to increase your lifespan. That's going to make sure you don't suffer from any of the other sicknesses and diseases that will take you to a hospital where you may run a risk of getting infected with corona. So will having a great sex life reduce your probability of getting or contracting coronavirus? I believe it does, and I believe it also helps you resist and fight off the disease by increasing your immunity and increasing the system, your system that's fighting against disease. So here's my encouragement. Couples, if you're married, have a great sex life. Enjoy each other. Let God bless the work that you're doing in that bedroom or wherever you're doing it. Enjoy it to the full. It's God's gift. God's blessing to mankind is great sex. So let's enjoy it. And one way to do that, read this great book. Dr. Francisca and I wrote this book, and we are so excited about what's happening. Our movie is actually coming out next week called Married and Loving It. And oh my goodness, I'm over the moon. It's been a 2.5 journey of fighting wars, of bringing out a movie that helps couples build a great marriage and have a great sex life. So the devil doesn't want you to have great sex. The devil doesn't want you to have a great marriage. More divorces are happening now because of what's happening than marriages. So we are in a place where the crisis is beyond just coronavirus infections. It is marriages, families that are becoming dysfunctional. So let's go back to God's model. Let's build our marriages and let's have a great time. Thank you so much for affording me this time. Go and have sex with your wife. God bless you.